Okay, next up is a resolution amending 2014 tentative budget officer corrections. We need a sponsor and a second. Did I miss one?
Sheriff.
I'm sorry, it got mixed up in my papers. All right, here's the proper one. Resolution amending 2014 tentative budget, the sheriff, sponsored by Sweet. Need a second? I'll second it for the discussion. Sean?
You've got a conflict with the previous past resolution, the second line, the deputy sheriff will have to be eliminated.
I'll motion to amend to remove that. Do we have a second? Supervisor Wheeler? Discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Supervisor Street, he opposes.
Yeah, me too.
Stagliano,
Because I don't understand it yet.
Yeah, can we have a,
well, this is to remove that line.
Right.
The amendment is, now the resolution,
To which line, Chair?
Deputy sheriff.
second line,
484?
deputy sheriff.
yeah. Says delete.
Punch that back on the previous resolution.
All right, so we're trying to get to,
I'm a yes on the amendment, Chair.
You're a yes, okay.
oh yeah, to the amendment.
Okay, the resolution has been amended. Discussion on the resolution as amended. Supervisor Wheeler.
I just have a question about the computer equipment, software. There's a couple different lines. Dan, are you? No involvement. What can you tell me about it?
Which one are you talking about? I don't follow you.
There's a couple different lines for computer equipment, software.
Yes. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
The first one would be in civil office. Okay, that's,
10,000?
no, I'm talking about, okay, I see what you're talking about.
Equipment lease repair.
Computer software. That's not the computer, that line.
Okay, what would,
That's for, we're taking the money out of the repair line for my cars. And we're not buying enough cars, we have old cars.
okay,
So that's what the 10,000.
so that's cars.
Okay.
And then the,
For the computers, we start with the civil office, and that's line 4459.
okay, that's the
Equipment.
46.
That's the
Okay,
software and equipment for the civil office. This is off state contract. This is for a program I asked for about 5-6 years ago, because we're using an in-house program right now. It doesn't do what we need it to do, and we need more accountability. Our last audit, the auditor that came in, she laughed at the system that we're using because we're using index cards, plus the computer, plus books. If you name it, we're using it to try to keep the system straight. This system will be paid for, actually, this is for the in-house software and for patrol cars. So that the officers that are doing the civil work will be able to do it in real time, back to the office, showing that they're serving the paperwork. This is also, right now, we have an issue, I think some of the supervisors are aware of it, where the connection between the county data and the sheriff's office drops. And sometimes, recently, it dropped for almost the whole day. So my people in the civil office can't do nothing. It dropped again, I believe, yesterday. It's a problem. We're also branching away from the county data system, pretty much just about everything. About the only thing we have is time clock and payroll that we are connected with the county now, and civil office. And we're having a problem with that connection. So this, I'm looking for the future.
Right.
Someday, maybe we won't be connected at all, or we'll be connected in a different way. But this is something that we need for accountability, and they handle over $1 million in there in bail and money that we take for, garnishes from people. And if we make any mistakes, it's going to bite us in the end. And I'm going to be the one that's going to be on the hook.
Sheriff, isn't there another mechanism to pay this over 100 and some thousand dollars?
No, it's bigger than that.
do
Yeah,
way
but I'm
bigger.
saying,
One's for
isn't there another
46,000, one's
mechanism?
52,000.
Well, you've got 52, 15.
No, the first one's a revenue,
Yeah, I know the first.
so you're cutting the revenue out.
Yeah, I know you are.
So you're actually, this one here's got a value of $211,000.
If you put the other
If
51.
you have the pages that I typed up and gave to Cheryl, it gives you the second page, it gives you the difference. Like $130,000 total for everything that's in this resolution. And now we're taking out, was it 18,000 of that, and it's 19,000 for the deputy, so that's gonna drop even more. You see it? Something like that.
Yeah, but
Now,
on the last column on this resolution, it shows the net effect of what that resolution is doing. And when I add up all of the expenses, it totals at $159,392. When you add the loss of the revenue that is being reduced, that's another $51,450 for a net effect on this budget of $211,000. Because we're losing, you're shorting the revenue now. You're also reducing that revenue that you were arguing with
yeah, that revenue shouldn't be going to that.
well, that's the effect it has on the budget, 211,000, as I see it. I don't know, Sean, you gotta look at it.
Since when do I lose control of that? Of how much money of that revenue money goes towards salaries and other equipment?
Oh, I don't know.
We just got approval for over $1 million grant today, that I'm gonna need that money to pay for equipment. But we'll put it in salaries instead. Then the county will fund 911 out of tax money.
That's what I'm saying, Sheriff. You have money, you have grant money though, to substantiate a lot of this, don't you?
Yeah, but this money for 911 goes to take care of 911 issues.
I understand, but don't we have credit on phone bills and all that for 911
Not
exclusively?
true, we have a fund balance, not a
Yeah,
fund balance.
well, I know.
Revenue.
Yeah.
And the revenue goes into a, what do you call it on that account? Reserve account.
Okay.
And that reserve account I use to pay for things in 911, computers, when I have to replace
Well,
any
that's
other
what I'm
equipment. I have $10,000 of it going towards salary, as it is now.
Because he's reducing what?
Computer equipment goes left and right, it gets outdated left and right. We're doing a total revamp, probably within the next year and a half in dispatch. And you want to take the money and put it in salary. Well, then I'm going to have to come back to the board and say, okay, I need this money now for 911 because you took all the 911 revenue money and put it in salary.
Can't be done.
Supervisor Sweet.
Is that, you want to continue about the computer equipment?
Yeah.
Well, don't forget 2 or 3 of these items on here are coming out of the commissary also, so.
Well, that's screwed down. That's a civil office, that's software, that's for before. This is important, this is a liability factor. The next we have is computer software in the jail. I think if you can read, if you have the paperwork to read it, it's 2259. From 0 to 15, so I'll take it 15. Yeah, 15,525. And this is for the camera system, not just the camera, but the software and the hardware to run the camera. This has been there for 16 years,
Is that Johnson?
running 24 hours a day. No, it's not Johnson. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So it's more than 16 years the stuff's been running. I can't even get it fixed. I told you at the last meeting that we're right now borrowing the DVD from a private person as a backup for the one that keeps not dropping, that does our recording for which goes on in the jail. I'm asking you for a one-time amount of money that'll take care of the system probably for another 15 years. And believe me, I hope not to be around 15 years to worry about this again, but we need this. If you don't do it now, in this budget, a responsible budget, then probably next year I'll be coming back to the legislators and saying, hey, I need this money now to get this fixed. And then they're gonna have to find where they're gonna get the money from. And we have 4459, this is also in jail. This is the software that runs on computer systems, cameras also. There's also a card swipe system in the 2259 line. our card swipe system. That's been there since we've been there. We can't even get that computer fixed anymore. It's an old DOS, not DOS, it's one of the big the green bar printers that we use now, the old style. We can't even get it fixed if we go. If the tower goes, we can't even get it fixed. So we're trying to get ahead of it before it dies. We're having issues with it now. We can't run reports that we need to run. And of course, this money is coming out of, the Supervisor Sweet said, not out of the county pocket. This comes out of the inmate's pocket. We have money that's called phone revenue that we get from the inmates when they use the phone system in the jail every year. That money is factored in as a revenue, about $45,000. And I'm using that money to pay for this equipment and the software. The same thing with the car here for the jail. That comes out of the inmate's money. That doesn't come out of the taxpayers' money. That's solely being paid for by inmates.
Supervisor Strebe?
Thanks, Sheriff. Sheriff, just a question on the $100,000 worth of new software. Does that include support and maintenance of that software?
For the civil office, yes. For the other stuff, yes. And our new tech up there that we have, a network tech, he's very skilled at doing this. He'll be working with companies.
So the county will still be providing the maintenance of this system?
Not all of them. The software for civil office, part of that package, I believe I gave you all the packages you asked for. If you read it, it's going to tell you how much maintenance and what you pay for, whether it's leased or purchased. The other systems, yes, they have maintenance in it, but I want my tech involved in it because I want him to take care of these things.
Thanks. Thanks, Sheriff.
Supervisor Rosakowski?
Mr. Chair, can I ask Dan a question?
Yes, sir.
Dan, on that, the two pieces of software and the equipment that the sheriff is looking for, does your department, does your department get involved in that? I mean, will your department get involved to go ahead and fix it?
No, since we agreed to separate our networks and hire, have the sheriff hire his own support, we pretty much don't get involved in negotiating any of this or reviewing any of it. It doesn't really touch the county network, and we don't get involved.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Thanks, Sheriff.
Supervisor Chair?
Yeah, Sheriff, question. On this sheet, you just said a lot of this money is coming from the inmates.
Right.
Which items on here are going to go for the inmates?
If you do have the second sheet,
I don't have it.
your sheet,
All I have is this.
it tells you in there.
I'm asking you a question.
Transport card to jail. And there is software for the card swipe, the camera system, the hardware for both those systems. It's gonna come out of it.
But it's on the sheet that the supervisor suite is discussing. Don't you have the discretion to do that on your own? Why do we have to have your own item?
No, there's two revenues, there's commissary and there's phone revenue. Phone revenue used to be in my control, and I would take care of that. That money would come to me, I put it in an account, and I would pay for stuff, okay, that was needed like this. The state came in maybe 5-10 years ago and said, no, all that money, the phone revenue money, has to be put in the general fund of the county, and then I have to ask for it back, and that's what I'm doing here. To you. Commissary money, I have that money, I have it in an account, I use that to pay for certain things in the jail. It's controlled, you can only spend it on certain things. If you spend it on something you're not supposed to spend on, you get in trouble.
All set, Supervisor Chair?
Yes, thank you.
Supervisor Stagliano?
To follow up on Michael's. Those three revenues that you're talking about on this sheet are not on the budget sheet. All right, there's $48,000. So what item in the budget does this $48,000 hit?
Don't follow what you're saying. We get $45,000 phone revenue.
You get,
In the budget, that's in as a revenue, already, it's there every year. And every year, I take so much from that money to put certain things in the jail. I do. and I think I explained this at our committee meeting for my budget, that I put asterisks next to each of the lines that show where that money comes from, so people know where it's from. That it's not tax dollars, that's money from the inmate.
Okay.
The computer money,
Yeah,
that's all revenue.
what I'm saying to you, Sheriff, is that, then what you're saying is that this money is already budgeted.
Yes.
Budgeted as a revenue, yes.
It's already budgeted. So
And I put it
again,
in the budget to spend.
you're right. So again, so the still, it comes down to the net effect of this resolution is it adds $211,842 to the budget. Because you've already got these revenues that you're talking about are already in the budget.
And so is the appropriation. I put the computer stuff in there. And then it was taken out in the tentative budget.
Okay. But the effect
So
of this,
the revenue was still in there, but the appropriations were out.
but the effect of this budget, all the numbers that are back in, is still $211,842.
I haven't done that math, I'm not sure that's total. You have the commissary, that clerk in there, part-time clerk, that's paid for out of commissary, out of the inmate's money, not county money, almost all of it's inmate
No,
money.
I understand it, but you already have that money in your budget, the revenue side. The $25,000 for the jail car, the part-time clerk to $6,000, wherever it comes from, phone or commissary or whatever, and the computer software, the $17,000, that total is $48,000. That $48,000 is already in this budget. So when Sean cut out these expenses, the revenues weren't reduced.
There's over 50,000 in the budget for revenue from the inmate.
Yeah, but there's only 48 on your slip, on your sheet, second page.
Yeah, but if you look at the budget sheet that I did before, the worksheet, you'll see all the revenue money from the inmates, you'll see all the appropriations that money's going to, and we're bringing in over $50,000 in revenue, and I believe maybe we might be spending close to $50,000 more.
I don't disagree with you, what you're saying. All I'm saying is that the result of all these actions here is going to add $211,842 to that budget. That's the bottom line. That's what this resolution is going to add.
I don't know if that's the number, Supervisor Stegliano, but if that's what the number is, that's what it is. And like I said earlier, you're either gonna pay for it now, in a responsible budget where you know where you're coming from, what's going on, or you're gonna wait for me to come back next year and say, this broke, this broke, this broke.
In all honesty, whether we give it to you in appropriated fund balance, or they give it to you in an appropriated fund balance, it's going to come from the same place. Either we do it,
Yeah, but
or they do it.
what I'm saying is, do I wanna wait till it breaks, or do I wanna fix it before it breaks, so I don't have to come running to you and say, hey, guess what, it's down, the state's on my back.
We got nailed, big time, because theoretically, we spent down the fund balance. So here we're going to do it again. You know what I mean? And so even when you know that it's wrong, we're going to do it again.
Got no choice.
Huh?
Got no choice. Really. If you
You either say no,
Yeah, or do all these.
or you spend, or you put the fund balance in it.
It's easier to spend the fund balance.
Well, it's easier it's easier to say to the public that we used the fund balance because we wanted to lower your taxes, like Fulton County did, where they said, well, we doubled the decrease, right? Because we appropriated another $1 million. We're gonna appropriate another $1 million and not reduce the budget because all we're doing is picking up all the expenses that were cut out by Sean in the first place.
You're right.
Further discussion?
No, thanks, Chair.
Supervisor Chera,
We're voting on this now? This resolution? Could we
it
have
has
amended?
been amended.
All right,
It has removed the deputy sheriff line.
okay, thank you.
Further discussion? Supervisor Collington?
Yeah, I'm having mixed thoughts about this resolution. I noticed $115,000 of the money on here concerns computers. And I'm hoping, I don't know what the problems that are there, but I'm not a computer guy, I don't know about it, Dan knows that is. My computer guru. I'm hoping that once the first of the year gets here, our new county executive, I look at Matt, I see him. I hope our new county executive, our sheriff, and our crossing guards here, who's up here, can get together and do something about this computer, kind of botched up computer system, I guess we have it. I'd like to see that happen, and I'm sure there's money to be saved there. I just have that feeling. And I understand the sheriff's predicament, but it seems to me there's got to be some consolidation or something there to save money. That's just my own opinion. Anyway, that's all I got to say.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's do a roll call, please.
Supervisor Sweet.
Yes.
Chairman Thayer.
No.
Supervisor Stagliano.
No.
Supervisor Barone.
No.
Supervisor Wheeler.
No.
Supervisor Chair.
No.
Supervisor Demeza.
No.
Supervisor Allen.
Yes.
Supervisor Sullivan.
Yes.
Supervisor Strebe. Supervisor Coddington.
Yes.
Supervisor Quackenbush.
No.
Supervisor Rishkowski.
Yes.
Pass.
Next up is a resolution amending 2014 tentative budget officer corrections. Need a sponsor and a second. Supervisor Wheeler sponsors, seconded by Supervisor Stagliano. Discussion? Supervisor Coddington.
Could we ask, what's the net effect of this whole resolution? Does anybody have that figure? I think Don probably would.
It ends up actually being a decrease of, I don't have the exact number on me. Decrease of approximately a little over 40,000.
Thank you.
I don't have the exact number.
Great job.
Thank you, Chair.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. Resolution amending 2014 tentative budget, Board of Elections, sponsored by Coddington. We need a second. Supervisor Allen. Discussion? Supervisor Coddington.
Back again. There is a typo on here, third line down, it says property rent lease repair, it should be changed from 1,000 to 2,000. And I will point out the net gain, I was into the Board of Elections here a couple of weeks ago discussing this resolution, it's quite lengthy. And there's a net gain actually of $19,000 there through the county to add those up. The top of the line there is the revenue, which has increased, and the rest of them, it's $19,000 gain.
Discussion?
Are we putting these gains down?
I am.
Sounds like weight loss.
I could use some.
So Larry, this is a net gain,
Net gain, yes.
19,000.
so nobody,
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Are we putting the gains down?
Write it on the top. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. Next up, a resolution amending 2014 tentative budget, Department of Social Services, sponsored by Quackenbush, seconded by Wheeler. Discussion.
This is a gain. It's $106,000 to the good. So we've offset your 105 already.
Looks like that's the Medicaid.
That's just,
I know.
that's
No, I know, I know.
just one line. What's the rest of it cost? 25%, right? Discussion? Supervisor Coddington.
I'll ask the question again, what's the net effect of this resolution? Without me doing all this with my pencil here.
$5.
How much was that?
$5.
$5.
Is
About it.
Where is it?
Anything is
drum zero.
The net is 86,000.
Is that right?
General fund.
Okay.
86, Mike?
Yes,
86.
86,272. Up or down? Up.
Increase.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. Next up is a resolution to amend 2014 budget and move the position from DPW budget to the Department of Social Services, sponsored by Reskowski. We need a second. Supervisor Barone. Discussion.
Can this one wait till the new administration gets in?
Do you have something further, sir?
Yeah.
Something further? Or you just
No,
gonna ask that
no,
question?
I'm thinking because this net effect, if there is any net effect. Is there a net effect here?
Just taking it out of one department, putting it into another?
Yeah, the only thing is the charter.
Reimbursed.
Yeah, but that'll be reimbursed.
And social services.
Social services will be reimbursed.
Well, if that would be the case, then I'll put the sheriff's resolution in social services, because he used the same argument, it'd be reimbursed.
But it's reimbursable.
Well, people that work with social
The workers,
services,
yeah.
No, the charter actually puts, the mail under the county executive. So, I mean, that's where the charter is. And, you know, and we do have the charter. That's why I said, wouldn't it be better for the next administration to figure it out than for us to do it?
why don't we just delete that line item and go on?
The top one.
Because if you want to keep it clean, if you really need, I'd still rather have the new administration deal with it, study it.
That's Dr. Thompson.
I didn't hear the amendment.
Delete the top line.
All right.
Did you make that amendment, Tom?
Yes.
Okay,
I second it.
all right. Discussion on the amendment. Supervisor Reskowski.
Actually, I have a question. What are we amending? What are we taking out?
Mail
The
material.
mail material specialist for $32,809.
Well, I guess, again, for the discussion, I mean, that's the whole purpose of the resolution, is to move the mail materials specialist from DPW into social services so that we can benefit from some of these savings through administration costs of social services. And I think that ties in with the other amendment. I don't want to talk about that, but I'll just talk about this one. I mean, that's the reason why we put up this amendment, is to move the mail specialist. And I can't see why we have to wait and just do a clean swap right in January 1st instead of waiting for the new legislation.
The new administration's gonna have enough to do with just the
Supervisor
charter.
Quackenbush, then Supervisor Strebe.
I think it was just pointed out earlier, Greg, that because the mail is in the county executive's budget, you wouldn't put it in this budget, because that's social services. And, I mean, I've had a brief conversation with county executive-elect, and I know that he really wants to take a look at the situation with DPW and everything. He's kind of agree, I'd like to have him take a look at that. And I also agree that I think that the charter spells out where that position goes.
I'm going to withdraw the amendment on that.
Your sponsorship of that amendment?
Yes, please.
We have somebody else that would like to pick it up?
I'll pick it up.
Supervisor Stagliano. Are you done, Tom?
Can I give you my logic, or?
Just a second. I've got Supervisor Strebe, then Quackenbush, or Stagliano, then DeMazza.
Sheriff. Just a quick question for Mike, if I may. Mike, is that an allowable expense or partially maybe allowable expense?
It is, we can pick up, I think, at least 80% of that reimbursement, because the bulk of the mail in the county is DSS.
Here, here.
Thank you.
Supervisor Stagliano.
So I'm going to follow up on that. On the cost allocation plan that the county currently has, on your indirect cost for social services, the mail is already incorporated in your indirect cost, which you're already reimbursing for it. So you're already doing that. So if you take it from the indirect cost to a person, and it's a direct cost, how do you justify the position delivering mail to everyone else?
Well, first of all,
If the state were to come in and say, let's look at what the duties are.
who else cares what the state says? Really? Clean up their own backyard first, before you come in ours.
The only thing is that, Ron, we paid an accounting firm, not Tosky, but the other one, to come up with a cost allocation plan. That's what they did. And then they took everyone who was doing, whether it be personnel and how much time they spend doing social service work, and everyone else, data processing, they were in data processing. And so there's an indirect cost that is associated with social services, which we already exceed the cap. So we're already not getting paid for it. So it's hard for me to accept, number one, that this is currently happening. That's why I would just as well see the county executive, which in his description says, supervise all central administrative services for the county government, including data processing, tabulation, whatever tabulation was, mail and messenger service, printing and reproduction, and telephone and related support services. If that's what's in the charter, we ought to at least allow the executive branch to do its work going forward.
Then can he legally go back out and get a mailman to come in here? The United States Postal Service?
No, what I'm saying is that this mail and social service reimbursement isn't going to change if he studies it and it says that you can do it because it would be reimbursed then.
Well, let him explain it. Right? Well, I mean, the reimbursement is, we figured that out what it would be. But the other thing I think we're forgetting is that job description of the mail handler is also, includes scanning and shredding, which is a huge thing that I need done right now. I've got boxes stacked and people are sitting on shredding. It's something else that can be done. So I think we get more efficiency out of this position, and we can also reimburse them up to 80%. And the other 20% would be the county, the other departments. We also have a backup. If that position's out there, we have a backup capable of doing the county mail also. So we can do that.
See, I'm not disputing any of that.
I know what you're saying about cost allocation.
You know, the cost allocation. The only other thing was, that, like I said, the charter was voted on, whether they read it or didn't read it, but the charter was voted on. And it put that in the office of the county executive, under his supervision. So the thing was, if something is going to be removed from his department, he should be the one who studies it and recommends it to the new legislature and to you and to everyone else, not me. That's my feeling.
Keep in mind, the net impact here is about $100,000 positive to the general fund if we do this, because of the maintenance contracts on the mail machines and other maintenance agreements, we would be able to pick it up and reimburse. So that's $100,000 goes back to the fund. Am I right?
But that should already be occurring to the percent that social services is using that service from the county in your indirect costs. So that money is already being reimbursed to us.
I'm proposing expanding the position.
Yeah, no, I just think as that you got a new executive, a new legislature, new executive, and it's in his job, it's in his description of his responsibility. He ought to be the one who moves it out.
We can amend it.
Not us.
We can amend it.
Is that a motion on the table?
No, I'll put a motion on the table. I don't want to table the whole thing if that's not all affected.
Well, keep in mind, we've been audited several times over the year. I think State Control was here, and they said, Tina, correct me if I'm wrong, that we were not maximizing our reimbursements. Going back to what you mentioned before, some of the other entities in the county that we could have been claiming.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
This is an
John,
opportunity here to do that.
yeah, no, John and I saw that report. I think it was like 159,000 or something like that in reimbursement that we could have claimed. And that may be one of them. But I just want him, the county executive, who's elected to do this, have the opportunity to study it and recommend it.
I think he'll have enough to do with this county,
Done.
without worrying about whether we have a mailman going around this building or somewhere else. I'll tell you that right now.
Just to refresh our memory, we are on discussion of the amendment, which is to remove the first line, material.
Okay, I'll pull, Tom pulled his originally, and then I picked it up, I'll pull it.
Moot point now.
Okay, so now, on the resolution as it stands, discussion. Supervisor Perez, I believe you had your hand up earlier.
Yeah, for years I felt that this position was not maximized. Going back 2 years ago, we took the copy paper, which was delivered by this person, the duties for that position, and we took the duties and responsibilities away from that position and left him an enormous amount of time, free time during the day as far as I'm concerned. I think this would maximize the position, and this person would be working more efficiently and under the direction of somebody that's going to be taking a look at that position all day long instead of just a couple hours a day. So I feel it's needed, and I think we ought to put that position over there and let him be supervised.
Done, sir?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler, then Supervisor Quackenbush.
Thank you. I support this because I believe in working smarter and utilizing this position at DSS. There are so many ways that this could be more efficient. I think efficiency is the best way to go. I never want to lose jobs, no matter what it is. So I just think to be reimbursed 80% to work smarter and more efficiently is exactly why I'm going to support it. So I've talked to both department heads, and they're good with it. So that's exactly why I'm going to support it. Thank you.
Supervisor Quackenbush.
All right, if the budget remained as it was today, 26 days or whatever it is, when our county executive takes over, he's going to have the opportunity to look at it. If we needed to take that 20% out of the budget in DPW to pay for that movement back over, it's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. This isn't like crunch time. This isn't like we got to throw the Hail Mary right now. Let this man do his job when he gets in. And second of all, being the chair of this department, right now anyway, I really would have liked to have the opportunity to look at this myself, or at least have the conversation. I haven't had that opportunity. So I either would like to see it tabled, or I would make a motion to table, so that I can at least have that opportunity.
Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please. Stay on the second.
Supervisor Quackenbush.
On the table, yes.
Supervisor Rishkowski.
This is to table.
No.
Supervisor Sweet.
Yes.
Chairman Thayer.
No.
Supervisor Stagliano.
Yes.
Supervisor Barone.
No.
Supervisor Wheeler.
No.
Supervisor Chayera.
Yes.
Supervisor DeMeza.
No.
Supervisor Allen.
Yes.
Supervisor Sullivan.
Yes.
Supervisor Strebe.
No.
Supervisor Coddington.
No.
Fail.
Okay, Supervisor Reshkowski.
Just want to mention a couple of things. I think Ron had mentioned it earlier too, that, there is going to be a lot of stuff for the new executive and legislators. And they do have other issues that they want to go ahead and attack, I think more so than just this male material specialist position. And certainly they can look at that, and I give them all due respect to be able to do that in due time. And again, but I also want to openly apologize to Tom Quackenbush for not talking to him about this resolution. Tom, it just slipped my mind.
I'm not faulting you, because we all do it, I just wanted the opportunity, you know.
I just got wrapped up in talking to the two commissioners, and certainly forgot about you, and it's not a problem about that.
Greg, I've been chairman of this board 5 times. Half the stuff they passed through, it never came through me too. What do you think, he's being slighted? Come on, there's things that have to go through that you have to do. It's a budget process, that's it.
Supervisor Sweet.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of seems like this board as a whole decided a few months ago that we were not going to change the charter whatsoever. So now we're picking and choosing what parts of the charter we're going to change. Obviously, this is changing the position from what the charter says to what we want. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we decided we weren't going to change it.
Let me
Done,
respond
sir?
to that. Jesus.
You done?
You know,
Are you
you
done?
got this charter that's so scientific, it's got so many bad points in it, that this board is probably going to work a whole year on it just to stay out of litigation. They'll probably have to hire 5 lawyers to not to have litigation on this silly charter that's been proposed. And the voters have no idea what the hell it is. But the other thing is, we're not changing anything. This is our right to put in there. I mean, if we're circumventing what position, I don't know, but that's our right to do it. We're still a legislative body up until the point of December 31st. After that, I have another hat that I go into the city. But as here, I don't understand what's such a bad thing. You're going to get reimbursed on it. It's a plus. It's not a minus, it's a plus. You've passed every minus here tonight. The taxpayers have a shot to get a plus. You want to shoot it down. It makes no sense. Thank you.
Further discussion? Supervisor?